Live.
We are live.
We
Well,
are
I am
live.
still alive. Oh, I survived peach days yet once again. I don't know how I did it. It's always oh, yeah. Peach, all five of the Leslie girls were here.
Oh,
My
that's
sweet
so
Donna came from
fun.
Colorado. We had so much fun laughing and
Okay.
giggling and carrying on, but it was so hot.
Yeah.
And Stan decided he wanted to go down and look at the car show. We just wanted to see the Volkswagens, didn't want to see the whole thing. So we walked all the way down there in 3,000-degree heat and all the way back. By the time we got back, my cheeks were as red as a juicy watermelon. They were so red. It kind of wiped me out for the rest of the day.
I bet it did.
I was done, but.
So you guys should come out to the salt one year. So my husband races at the salt flats and I got to go out and help and I ran the short track. So I run cars that want to qualify to go a little bit faster or cars who can't go super fast. I mean, so the big track, they run 300, 400 miles an hour. Okay. So my track, no one was supposed to go over 139 miles an hour.
Oh, 139,
but I
that's
had
scary to be.
Quite a few Volkswagens.
You did?
I did. And I had some that were just completely stock and they were full bore at 70 miles an hour. And they were so cute. And then I had one that made it to 130 and it wasn't completely stock.
Of course
but
not.
It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. So that's what I did.
We used to own Volkswagens. So I had a 64. Mine was a 64, a little yellow. Gretchen was her name, a little bug. And Stan had a 1960 Volkswagen van.
Ooh!
Its name was Buford. Now, Buford is a whole other story, which we could go on about.
Do you wish you still had it, though?
Stan wishes we did still have Buford, but Buford had some maybe because of the name. So one time, Buford would decide sometimes it just didn't want to start for you, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, one time I had to go Christmas shopping, and I just came uptown to the old JCPenney store, and I went to get back in the car to go home, and I knew it could be a problem, right? So I got in the car, and I said, listen, Buford, if you don't start for me, I am calling a tow truck, and off to the junkyard you go. He started right up.
He knew what was good for him.
Like, oh gosh, it's Fran in here, not Stan. I can't mess around. We got to get this started. We had such a great week last week. Oh my gosh. We went to the quilting studio. We did our videos.
Yes, we did. And we were live there last week if you didn't see us. Yes. And I realized, this is how out of it I am. I wore the same shirt last Tuesday.
Good for you.
But it is clean.
Your uniform. This could be your uniform because it's so cute. Can't touch this. So that means, children, do not touch Mama's good sewing scissors.
You know what? And I think I've trained them, and then every once in a while they
they sneak in there.
Luckily, it's not the super nice ones, but
those little rascals.
We have a couple of comments already. Jordan said she saw you at Peach
She
Day.
did.
I did. Cool.
We were actually at the quilt show, which was really nice. Oh my gosh. There were some beautiful quilts at the quilt show. Yes, there were some very nice quilts there. We saw a lot of kits from our store that were there. But no second Saturday quilts. I was kind of surprised about that because I know some people have finished theirs. Yeah. But there were some beautiful. We didn't make it to the trunk show. Donna and I were trying to work on our mystery.
Oh, I'm excited about that. Gosh, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yes, we will. But so we were trying to do that, and then we had kids home all over the place, and so we didn't make it to that. But I heard that was really nice too. I heard that.
And I didn't even make it to the show or to the fair to see quilts at the fair this year. So I don't know if there were any second Saturday there. Yeah, I usually see some of our kits there too.
Yeah. So it was nice. So Peach Days is Brigham City's big, town festival. And so Jordan and her mama Mandy were there at the quilt show. Good, so I saw her there. Exciting. Yes. So good morning, sweet Jordan.
And she says, Jordan also says they got the design done on her quilt. And now I just have to do the edges.
Nice. So
that's
she's ready
really
to bind
good.
it. Yeah, she told me that they had it on Mama's quilting machine.
That's
Good
exciting.
job, Jordy. I can't wait to see that one.
And Pam says we've got a quilt sample in the mail.
Oh, sweet Pam. Thank you. I have another one that I might want to send to you. This cracks me up. So I will show it to you, and we'll talk about this one in a second, and you can let me know if this is something you would be interested in making for me. So,
well, busy time, and
lots going
on. And I'm so excited. Thursday's going to feel like fall.
I know. I
Thursday. Oh, I'm excited.
The weather's going to cool.
The weather's going to cool.
I know. So this morning when I was talking to Donna, she bought a hoodie from Peach Days, right? And she goes, I was really hoping I could put that on today, Mom, and wear it. And I said, not yet. Don't
maybe
do it,
Thursday, especially in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Good. I know. I love it when the weather finally starts cooling off. So, well, let's talk about a couple of other fun things here. Let's chit chat. So, we have our retreat coming up next month in just barely over a month. Yeah, we do still have a couple spots left.
We do have a couple spots, but it is limited. So if you want to come, please join us. And
love it. Did I tell you that I got their big prize?
You did not.
Oh, I can't tell you now because it's a surprise.
We got to keep it a surprise.
It's a surprise, but I'll tell you afterwards. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be so good.
So we love to spoil the retreat participants just a little bit with some fun things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've got some fun stuff.
So some
great classes. I'm so excited.
Some amazing classes.
Some really good classes. And so you can jump on our website and check those classes out now. They are going to just be for our retreat people for right now. There may be some that later on we can repeat in the store for classes, but right now these are exclusive for our retreat people. You can't sign up on the website, but if you're in the retreat, you can call the store and we can sign you up here. So check those out too. And even if you're not in the retreat, go on, check them out. And if there's something you're interested in, just let us know and we will put you on that wait list because we do have a wait list. For the next time we schedule it. For here in the store. Yeah, so we've got that. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today is sometimes people get intimidated by colors and how to put colors together in their quilt. I think that can be something that's a little frightening to people. And most of the time, everybody does a really great job with choosing their fabrics that they want to put in. They're just not quite as confident about doing that. So I get asked a lot to help put colors together, and I'm always happy to do that because I love to do it.
And that's a talent, really, but it's also something you can practice.
It is, and you get better. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. And so here's what I tell people. I can put together colors for you all day long. However, this is what I would put together. These aren't necessarily maybe even going to be your colors that you would think of to do in there. But a couple of hints for you. Because we all know that red's my favorite color, right? We all know this. Now, red, I'm going to see if I can hold this up and show you. Can you all see all those colors? So. Okay, red is a color that you can use every shade of red in a quilt. Every single shade of red goes from purple reds to orange reds, pink reds. But here's the thing. If I'm using all one value in my quilt and then I pop in one that's an orange purple or a red purple, it's going to stand out like a sore thumb. So if you're doing a scrap quilt and you want to use reds, more is better.
More variety.
More is better. So don't just have one red purple or one orange purple or one red. Mix those all in there so you have lots of orangey reds, lots of purpley reds, a good variety, and it will always look nice. It won't clash. So sometimes when I'm stacking pieces up and people are looking at them, they're like, I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, let me put a couple more in there. And then it's like, they do work. Green is another one that you can do that with. Green also works. Blues. Blues are tricky. Yeah. Blues, not so much. Yeah. You really kind of have to be careful with blues. And another color that people don't stop and think that about is black. Because sometimes blacks can have blue in it or green in it or even purple in it or grays in it. Yeah, grays. So sometimes you got to kind of lay those out there and look and see. Look at them. Do those really all play nicely with each other? And we call that auditioning fabrics. We do. And I don't know what other people call it, but just laying it out there and seeing what you feel like and not making a too super quick decision until you lay it all out. And take a picture of it. Take a picture. Take a picture of it. And excuse me. Do you need your water? Yes, it's in my Ghastly tote, sweetheart. Okay. Thank you, Miss Liz. The other thing is that not only values do you want in there, because you don't want everything to be the same, because if it is, when you're looking at that quilt up on your wall or on your table or wherever, if it's all the same value, you're not going to see the beautiful prints that are in it. You're going to see only blah, one big blob of color. So values, important. Contrast is also important. The other thing is scale. Like, you don't want everything to only be teeny tiny prints unless it's a quilt that has teeny tiny pieces in it.
Yes, yes. So think about the size pieces that you have. And then the other thing to remember too is if you've got a huge print, you have to realize that if you have to cut that very small, it's going to actually look different colors. Different. And, you know, you're going to have a piece you cut from right next to it, and it's going to be a totally different color. Different. So,
which sometimes can be a good thing.
Yeah, it can give you a lot of variety.
And our sweet friend Sue Garman, one time she said, there is not an ugly fabric. Did you know this story?
No, I don't know the story, but I beg to differ.
You cut it up small enough, and you don't know that it's ugly.
I like that.
There's no ugly fabric. If it's ugly, just chop it up a little smaller.
Really small. That's cute.
You never know that. So, scale, contrast,
variety.
In your quilts can make your quilt very, very interesting. Another interesting thing to tell you about, sometimes we really let the colors on a pattern influence what we want to do. I took a class, and I wish I could remember this morning her name. I was trying to remember it as I was jotting notes down. But I took a class from a famous designer, and she said, if I'm using someone else's pattern, the first thing I do is I take that pattern. So let's use this one as an example. I take that, I'm going the wrong direction because I'm backwards. I take that pattern and I make a black and white copy of the pattern. Can you see that? Then I'm not influenced in any way, shape, or form about what I'm doing. So this is an example. I just showed you this beautiful pattern. We're just getting ready to do this in our store as a kit. And okay, you can see
it's got
purples and greens
and greens.
Right? Okay. All right, let me show you what we're doing. I'm going to put, let me see if I can get this
on there to help you hold it.
To help give me a little bit of, all right, watch for it.
I love
Look at that. So we've got blues and caramels and creams in it. This is what we're doing our quilt out of for that. So
but once you see it like this, it kind of resets your brain. Right. And you can kind of think.
You can think, oh, but my favorite color is red. Where can I put reds in there instead? But this was a beautiful line that we got. This is a Wyndham line, and we just thought it was so gorgeous. So I said, hey, and Donna actually did this quilt at her store using she changed it, made it similar at her store.
So one thing I want to point out here, and this is what the same thing is you can do when you take a picture of it. You can kind of adjust it to black and white, and there's actually a couple different functions on my phone. It's black and white, but there's a couple different ones that I like to look at that are in that black and white family. But then all you see really are lights, mediums, and darks. And so when I am done with a quilt, if I'm laying it all out, especially if it's a scrappy one, I like to also take a picture, and then I can see, I've got a ton of darks here, or I've got a ton of lights here, and I can kind of mix things around. But it just helps you see those. So what's so interesting to me is things I didn't think were light or things I didn't think were medium that show up once you see that picture, and you go, oh, I guess that's really how it's coming across.
Okay, good point. I was going to talk about that one as well. So okay, so in our quilt. This one here really is kind of a medium, right?
You would think.
Okay, but if I put it with this, now what is it?
It's pretty light.
Now it's a light.
Yeah.
So depending on what you're putting it with can make it either a medium, a light, a dark. So if I put this one with this, now what is it?
It's a medium. Well,
it still dark? Now it's a dark.
It's a dark?
It's a dark because this is very light.
Yes.
And if I've only got these two pieces, I would say, okay, here on this one, I've got a light and I've got a dark. So color placement, what you're putting it with, also
really
says, okay, this is this. Another, and this one I believe was Bonnie Hunter when she was here. She said a lot of times what she does is she'll make stacks. So she'll make a stack and she'll say, okay, these are my lights, these are my mediums, and these are my darks. But then when she starts putting things together, sometimes those mediums, well, now that's a light now. Or, now that just turned out to be a dark. So play in scrap quilts because Bonnie does almost everything Miss Bonnie Hunter does. Oh, she does amazing stuff. And she's such a nice lady. So that was kind of a fun thing that we learned from her was I make my piles and then I do this. When another class that I took one time in scrap quilts was you just put all your scraps into a bag. You grab out a scrap, you sew it on. You don't get to audition it, you don't get to play with it, you just pull it out, you sew it on. Because a lot of times with scrap quilts, it's, where do I put this piece? And this, you can waste so much time doing that. And then when you lay it all out in the big scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. They all look pretty together.
That is something I've had to practice. That is something, and I usually do set a couple of rules for myself, like I might say I almost always say I don't want the same fabrics next to each other, the exact same fabrics, right? So I will set that as a rule, and sometimes I will say, okay, if it's a red, I don't want a red next to it, I want a blue or something. So, but I do try and grab that, and it's so funny when you're making it, how you're like, that's not going to work. But then when it's all in, you're like, okay, it works. So that's why I've had to practice, and then I have to trust myself that I can just grab. But I will say that's difficult for me. That's hard.
Here's a little tip if you're just getting new into making scrap quilts. If you have a controlled scrap quilt, it's always going to work for you. Then you don't worry so much. Like if you say, I'm only going to use reproductions in this quilt. And our friend Fran Buddha says, have a color palette, like only have like maybe 5 or 6 different colors that you want in that quilt. And then from those 5 and 6 colors, have a good variety of those colors to mix in.
Right.
That's also a really good way to kind of ease into this scrap world. Now, my sweet friend Rolane, we made this quilts together. Mine is not quilted yet. At some point it will be. But in her scrap quilt, there's everything. There's Halloween prints. There's Christmas prints. There's batiks. I mean, there's everything. And it was the most beautiful quilt you've ever seen. It was her Sleeping Beauty. It was an amazing quilt. But you looked at those little tiny pieces in there and it's like, are those black cats in here?
That's another point. If you're cutting it up really tiny, just like ugly fabric, you're not going to notice that it might be a Halloween or something.
You're going to look at that and go, that's an orange print or that's a green print for a Christmas. So that is a great way to kind of ease into that one of the scrap
and
quilts.
if that's the way your brain works, which that's the way my brain works, my brain likes a little bit of, just a few lines in the road, chaos. Right? Yeah, just a few lines in the road that I know I can go in the right progression, whatever the sentence is I'm trying to say. Anyway, but set those few rules for yourself. Try not to set 92 rules, but just a few rules that. Okay, if I stay with these guidelines, then I feel like I can.
Right, and then you can branch out from there.
Success.
So that's a great way to kind of ease into that because we all have scraps. Well, not everybody. I know people that throw theirs away when they're done with their quilts.
Or give them away. Yeah, well, I don't. But I just made an entire quilt completely out of my scraps.
See?
And
it feels good, doesn't it? It's a free quilt.
Great.
It's a free quilt.
It turned out so good.
Okay, so these pieces that I'm cutting off, I still paid the same price
for it
for that as I did as the pieces that are in my quilt.
Yeah.
So it always makes me happy to you. So one time Donna came out and she was going to help me sort through my stuff, and so I had these totes of scraps, and so we brought them out and set them there on the floor, and she's like, okay, now we're going to go through these and you can get rid of some of this stuff, Mom. I actually started hyperventilating. I'm like, no, I can't because scrap quilts are my very favorite things in the whole wide world, like a log cabin quilt, a pineapple quilt, any of those that you're just using little tiny
9 patches,
pieces.
all those things.
Yeah, all the things. I could make that doggone Lori, she got me started on a little scrappy quilt. So now when I finish cutting my pieces, if I've got a 1.5 inch square or 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangle. I cut those off, put them over in my basket for my cute little. One day I'll bring that quilt.
Yes.
Those blocks. It's not a quilt.
Yes.
I just have a few blocks made, but Lori made me start doing that.
But you know what? Like I said, I just finished an entire quilt. And dang, my scraps did not go anywhere.
Do you know why?
They multiply at night.
Oh, well, they might.
They're like rabbits.
Here. You have rabbits in your good on you. So here's what I figured. One year I was making all of these quilts for my whole family, flannel quilts. Everybody got a flannel quilt that year. Husband, son-in-laws, grandchildren, daughters, everybody got a flannel quilt. I had these totes. I mean, I got a big family. I ended up with as much flannel in those totes as what
you started with.
And I figured it out. Because when I put them in, I push them down in there and smash the lid on them.
Yeah.
So then as you take pieces out, they can breathe and they flip back out. So they fill your totes back out. So it doesn't look like you've done a dadgum thing. Not a darn thing.
It's fun to kind of do, and it's fun to challenge yourself and go, I'm going to pull out my red scrap tote and I'm just going to use this, or do something. It's kind of fun to set those challenges.
It is, because it makes you feel like you're using up a little of your stash.
Well, and like you're saying, it's not another expense that you have to do. You've already paid for it.
And I love it. We have had so many people since COVID that have come in and have said, I'm finishing up some things. I feel so proud of myself. I'm finishing these things. I'm using some of my stash. I'm getting into some of my stuff, and they bring these beautiful things in and show us what they've been working on.
Well, and if your goal is truly just to use scraps and just to finish that, there's places you can donate things. There's things you can do with quilts.
Absolutely.
And so
Wrap the World.
Wrap the World.
Another plug for our cute Wrap the World.
They're still collecting those 12.5-inch blocks. So through the end of the year. So anyway, there's ways. If you would like to do that, if that's something that interests you, do it.
You know what happens to me though sometimes when I start using my scraps?
What? You have to buy something to go with it?
Yeah. Oh darn, I need just the right color in there.
That's the other thing about scraps. I pull out all my creams or all my greens and I go, no, nothing is just the right thing.
I need to go to the quilt shop and find something. I need to go buy one piece. But even if I only have to buy
one fat quarter or something.
Or whatever, I've still dug into my pieces and been able to use those.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. So I have to ask Miss Pam. So Miss Pam, you saw my blue and browns. That's the quilt I would like to know if I could send you.
Is it this pattern?
It is this pattern. It is this pattern, the Clover Meadow. It is that one, sweet girl. So
let's talk about a couple of our. I lost my mouse. Where'd it go?
Oh no, the mouse is lost.
Okay,
not in the store, please.
Pam. Well, originally before we showed her, she said that would be fine. So we'll see if she jumps back on.
Oh, good.
Miss Evie is on. And we need to announce that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you if you would do that for us. So please, special next week. Don't miss.
Evie is my friend from Australia, and if you watched my Village Vibes that I did while I was in Australia in June, I think I posted it, or the 1st of July, she was a special guest on there. But she is here with us in the United States, and she's going to join us next week for Village Vibes, and we're going to do some fun stuff on that day. We don't have a for sure plan yet, but we're going to do some fun stuff.
But it's going to be fun.
We're going to, and just to have her here,
listening to her
just
talk.
to listen to her talk,
to listen to her little accent.
She was out of the salt with us. She was everybody's favorite. Everybody loves her.
She's such a sweet lady.
And she's so nice. And, and she was in different locations. And if she wasn't right where I was, well, where is she? I need to see her. And I'm like, well, what about me?
Hey, I'm here.
So she's just so sweet. So we're so excited to have her join us next week. Okay. Pam says yes.
I love you, Miss Pam. Thank you.
And Jordan says she has to have surgery on Thursday. So we wish you the best of luck on Thursday.
Keep us posted, honey.
Yeah.
You know you'll do great.
Yes.
You're such a sweet little girl. But keep us posted. Mandy Mama, let us know that she's done okay, please.
Yes.
We have a cute little quilt to show you as we're signing off.
And I think we showed part of it before, but it wasn't finished.
But now it's that. So my sweet friend Kay came in one day and shared this pattern with us, and I had this little panel, and so we made up this little quilt, and we finally were able yesterday to get it all put together and put out. So we have a sweet little kit all ready to
all
go.
Made up. I was just going to see how big it is because it's not too big. It's a perfect.
It's this size. I don't know.
It's a perfect
table. I hope I wrote it on the pattern. I may have, I may not.
30 by 35.
Oh, I did a good job, you guys. Every once in a while, I surprise myself.
But I don't know how much it is because for some reason.
Is that not priced? Oh gosh, Christiane.
If something's a little different on that,
off. We have to fix those tags.
It does have a price.
It does have a price, and it's not real pricey because there's not a lot.
And how cute! You could totally get that done before Halloween.
But you know what? It's not necessarily even really Halloween. So this is from the Old Maid. This is Janet Wicker's Old Maid line. So it's got, you know, kind of oranges and blacks in it, but it's not necessarily Halloween. It's just dang cute. I got to show you my very favorite one. Let me show you Mary's. This is Mary's favorite. It's the Crazy Quilt Lady. That's Mary's favorite. My favorite is Miss Snap Out of It. They're just so cute. They're way cute. So fun. That was a new kit that we just put out yesterday. But yeah, I got to figure out why there's no price on it.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird label. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I know they did adjust our labels recently, but
yeah, darn them. Do you know that it took me all darn day long to reformat those stupid things? Anyway, we'll get a price put on that today. It's not a real pricey kit, though, I remember. So we'll get a price on that.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
I think we've had some fun today.
I hope we've given you, I yammer a lot. But every once in a while, we hope that we give you some useful information.
You just know so much, so.
I don't know if I do or not, but I hope that every once in a while I can pass on a little bit of my quilting knowledge. I do have a little to share with everybody, and I'm always happy to share. I have.
And it's so fun to learn from other people. And I think
it is.
Especially this weekend when we were out at the Salt, and there's been so many people who have done that for so long, and they just know so much. And it's like, how do you pass that on in a 2-hour training or something? You just don't. So you just have to surround yourself by good people and ask questions and learn what you can, because there's always things to learn. And I love that about humans. I think most humans are more than happy to share something with you, whether it's a beautiful smile during the day or a little quilting knowledge. Please share. Yeah. Please share. Sharing is good. Smile.
Share a smile. That's our 5-10, right?
That's our 5-10
That's our 5-10 rule. So with that, we will sign off for today. We hope everybody has a great cooler week starting up soon. I can't wait. I'm done. I'm done with 100-degree. I hope we're done with hundreds.
I think we are.
Oh, good.
I just don't know if we're going to hit some 80s or 90s
We'll probably hit a few more of those. You got to have a little bit of Indian summer somewhere.
That's true.
Maybe we could be done with that because it's the middle of September.
That's
true.
We
could be done. Okay. Yik, yak, yik, yak, yik, yak. All right, guys. Have an amazing week, and we'll be back here next Tuesday with our
special
guest. We can't wait. So have a great week, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye now.
Bye-bye.